Good morning. It is a Saturday morning, but I'm not doing stupid things today, so apologies to all of you who are open today. It's not going to be one of those days. Also, the camera's dead and I'm dealing with it. I'm not going to fix it. It requires a computer restart and I don't care enough. So it's dead. Oh well. I don't know why it does this. It just occasionally decides it doesn't want to turn on, so. Got another 5 rounds of the escalators. And is this 3 times up the bridges? I believe, at least. That's what it looks like. But this technically currently is the final New York route badge for the time being. Though we know that there is Empire Elevation, which is a ZRL only route for now. So that'll probably come out eventually. What, this will bring it down to like 8 routes left to do or something? This isn't the one I wanted to do today, but it's a good length for what I have in me today. And it gets New York done again. Again. So, there's that. Why would you ride a mountain bike? Oh, JD's been riding for a while. Riding with Meusen? Would be my guess. Because they're both roughly at the same. Yeah, they've got to be riding together. I wonder what route they're doing. Oh, they're probably doing forget about it. Oh, unfortunate. I'm not even the slightest bit jealous. You have fun with that. Oh, I should have the updated escalators now. That'll be nice. No feeling of 19% anymore. Should feel like 3% or something now for me. Because I'm not at 100%. Let's see. Oh, so much better. So much better. That is a worthwhile change. No, this isn't the bridge. This is... No, it is. Okay. At least I think it is. We'll see. Unless it's going to take me somewhere else. Bye, JD. Have fun. Sorry, you're on the miserable route. Those people just went through the parachutes. What? I have questions. Alright. So if this is the bridge, we have this 3 times. Which it looks like it is, so. This side twice, the other side once. The sky traffic is ridiculous. and very confusing at this distance. It's a penguin. You get foot shakes from penguin for some reason. Alright. First of 3 times up this. So this will be like almost 1,000 XP total. Because we've got 300 and some odd from the base route. And then multiply that by 3 for every kilometer done. So, close to 1,000. Plus the power-ups, which it's only 3, so I'll probably get like 30 from that. What's up, Pup? I know, people are riding again. It's the worst morning. Exit, start over. You have Swift Plays. You don't need to get your mouse. You forget so often. Hey. I had planned on doing a different route this morning, but my body has said no, so this is what we get. It's better than nothing. Time on the bike, it's another route completed. That's what we're gonna go with. Another Zone 2-3 route badge. It's weird for me to not race in a week. But it's better than me racing once and being done for the week because my body has revolted against it. So there's that. What is this? How? What? They look like they're putting in so much effort and going nowhere. I feel for them. So, we'll still get 3.5 plus hours on the bike this week, which is good considering. Because my recovery score has been in the trash. The fact that I'm on the bike at all is a win. I think I handled it better than I normally do. I don't feel like I've been rewarded fully for actually listening to my body, but you know, that's how bodies work. It'd be nice if it was like, oh, you've done well this week. We'll actually make your recovery score work and not be terrible. No. Alright. One time across the bridge. One more on this bridge, one more on the other bridge. Or is it actually... No. I'm curious. How do we get back across to do that? Unless... No, okay. We'll just go back around. I see. I was thinking that we were going to do that same loop. And I'm like, that doesn't make any sense. You have to cross back across, and there's only bridges to do that. I was very confused for a moment. But I realized the sides of the bridge look similar, but they're not. One has a more extreme slope down than the other. So I guess this is the shallower side. Well, it's shorter. So I guess that would make it less shallow, because they climb the same amount. But it looks like it starts a little bit higher up. Penguin's over here knocking things over. I'm shocked the other cats haven't come down. Yeah, they're taking advantage of Turner not being up there. He's like, wait, what? Yeah, it's just the right decision. My legs are very much not going through good recovery this week. Every time I do an effort, it takes so long for them to come back. But that makes sense with low recovery. Sleep scores are good, but JD is in front of me. Well, they're definitely going at a different pace than I am. More power to them. Probably also because there's actually somebody riding with them, so that's always motivation whether you like it or not. I'm shocked he's not doing the tiny races stuff. Even if I was feeling good today, I don't think I would have done the tiny races. It's all the little climbs and stuff. No, thank you. I am good without that. I'll be happy to be done with you. This TT position is so ominous with the Scotty Squirrel ears just poking out. Looks like a squirrel is hunting something. It's weird. So I'm only going to get 10 XP power-ups. It's weird that it doesn't give you the chance to get the larger ones. At least I haven't seen it. Feels like a downside. Because prior to bike upgrades, there's really no bonus to riding a TT bike. I mean, sure, it's slightly faster on flat ground, but nobody gives you slipstream. You have no chance of power-ups, and it looks like you can't get the larger XP bonus. So, very little perk. Now, this is the fun one. You come off the escalator and immediately into a bit more of a bump. This was super punishing with the 19%. Because if you didn't keep your momentum, that sucked. But now that it's not as bad, you should be able to keep momentum better. Yep. Much more reasonable to keep momentum. That's a good change. Oh, you're doing the fun climb. Yeah, I'm gonna guess that's a badge you really don't have. No. That's a pretty good time for that length. So that route has a lot of climbing in it. Up, down. He's giving up. Now the pup is chilling between us, upset that we're riding. He hates the days that we're both on the bikes. He's like, no one's here to give me attention. It's the worst of days. And he always looks like he's an abused pup. How could anybody? Little boy. Cats are happy though, because he's leaving them alone. Bye. There are a lot of Canadians behind me. Like 7. It's just very weird to see. Well, I guess 5 of them are riding together. There's just a wall of Canadian flags. I'm like, what the heck? Person looks like they want to cross, but they're never going to cross that crosswalk. They're stuck there forever. Good luck, buddy. Once I finish this, I think that'll be 4 route patches. Prior, that would have been like all I had left. Now I still have like 8. More people that will never cross. It's unfortunate. I'm sure I had to ride this section for Forget About It, but I do not remember it. This feels very unfamiliar. That's amusing. Not surprising, I did try to forget about it, so... Yeah, and I have a 90-day PR, so I definitely have done it. That's what it must have been. If I only have one of them? Let's see. No, it's not gonna tell me. Fine. Did you wake up, pup? And back in. I didn't know this was the stage over in the corner. It's the same style that they have in Paris. Well, at least you know they're co-pilot questions. I like Satan. Well, at least you know the sentiment of this group. I saw that one. Yep. Oh man. Well, you know that's a good group to ride with at least. I'm shocked not a single person got mad. That's good. Means the sentiment is universal.
Okay.
Alright. Couple more little uphill section before we do the bridge again. I know what that last section before the final bridge is, I just can't remember the name of it.
I haven't stopped.
Good.
No.
I'm proud of them. Well, no, there's not a line. Never mind. All right. Back to the roundabout. Which, I'll be honest, I feel like there's not a chance there's a roundabout here in New York. There'd be too many accidents. I guess it's not a true... Well, no, it kind of is, unless there's a stoplight. I can't see New Yorkers handing a roundabout well. I need DJ to correct me if I'm wrong. No, there is technically lights, but I don't know. It's a very convoluted way. Yeah, this route will definitely be enough. Two hours until upgrade. Whew. It's not bad. Means I've done 4 hours at this point. Yes, Pop? It's like it keeps checking to see if anybody's moved. Seems like I'm upset. I was gonna say, is he gonna make a nest? Well, it's because they use it up in the office so much. I love how he gives the sad look as he walks out. Late join can do that. It's rare, but it can happen. And unfortunately, late join just ended.
Oh, man.
Because it's 32 minutes after. The Mets. Actually, I think he's a Bears fan. I don't know.
Oh.
Yeah, Chicago, okay. Alright, almost halfway. Got 2 more subways after this. Which, you know, I'm not happy about. Adar, you can draft off me, it's fine. I can't draft off you, so enjoy. Almost have the bridge again. And then we'll have one more too. Yep. Are they working that hard to stay in my draft as they just surged? That would be funny. I'm not trying to drop them.
All the coffee stops I've gotten flung forward.
Uh-huh.
So I'm pretty much matching.
Alright, 3 more escalators. At least they're not as bad anymore. I don't know if Adar meant to drop off my wheel, but he did. Ah, they're on the same road as I am, I'm sure. It's fine with you drafting, but I'm not changing my speed. One more time up this one. Bridge is such a slog.
Why they're so good at geography.
Ah, yeah, no, fair. True. So true. I mean, instead of learning geography, you learn Texas farms. So, I think they replaced some of it with that, though. Whatever. Both ridiculous things to teach in a school.
Give me some brands and I'll tell you which brands.
There's shockingly a lot of people in New York. More than usual, so... About 3,000 people. It's impressive. Now you're getting to see why people complain about the dirt for racing, though.
Yeah, I can see it.
It's really hard to see if you're in the group or not. I've gotten dropped more than once on dirt because of that. You think you're in the group, but it's only a group of 4. Alright, 2 of the 3 bridges done. Yeah, unfortunately, your Swift Blades can't fix that. Alright. So we've got 2 subways, Brooklyn Bridge, and then the Glass Roads. You know, that's something I forgot about. If I wanted to access one of the other worlds, I could probably just use a workout. Duh. With the workout, you're good. Why have I forgotten about that? I might double check that after this. Just so I have more options. Alright. About 2/3 done. Okay, it is the Times Square area. I was curious. I just realized it very much looks like I don't have a cassette on this bike. Looks like it's just the hub. Is that the case? Oops. Oops. The wrong way. I don't think there's any cassettes on these bikes. I don't know if I've ever noticed that. Either that or they're all like 11 tooth, which would be terrifying. Alright. 2 more escalator ups. I feel like that should be a workout of some sort. There's some serious fog down there. Is that a cave-in? I don't know if I've ever looked down that tunnel. Seriously, I still wish They would give a VR option to walk around these places and be fans inside. That'd be cool. Ah, Hadar came back. Welcome back. They're drafting off somebody else now. Alright. Yeah, it's a much better lead into this spot. It's always felt so tough coming up to this. Alright. Only one escalator set left. Little bumps before the last final bump. Alright, last little bit. And it's just flat until the climb. Last little chill spot. Yeah, that sky traffic is very confusing to me. Because why do we have sky traffic if there's just, or sky lanes if people are just gonna sit in traffic. You've just repeated the problem. Look at that. Oh. It's just traffic in the air. It seems miserable. But that is the running joke of when we get to doing, like, basically like personal flying cars. That'll just be traffic in a different location. And knowing how we do things, I believe it. That tracks. Looks like the French rider behind me might be on the same course and the person that's just in front of me. And then somebody else up there. Yay, downhill. Oh, that's nice. Alright, still have 5K left. Back to the bridges. So this route finishes at the top of Brookwood Bridge, aka no sleep till Brookwood. You do the Manhattan Bridge twice, but you don't cross the Brookwood Bridge till the end. There are two people doing the same course. Doesn't matter though, because I can't draft them. Yes, they did, Drew. Crazy how many people don't look for patch notes or anything on a game that's physical. Like, I look at every patch note. And not just because I race, but because it's a physical-based game. Like, I want to know. Alright. Coming up on the last time up the escalators. Alright. Last one. Last little bit. And then the random little downhill into... Last bit. I'm not going to be beating my PR. This one kicks pretty hard at the base. Alright, around this corner gets a little bit easier. There we go. Whew. There we go.
Now the main problem area is up here. All of this going on up here
Yeah.
is what's causing me the most physical discomfort. It's like a visceral reaction of discontent
How you
coming
doing,
from this
Wheatley?
area. This area is not good either.
definitely.
I hate this, but I'm mainly worried about this.
Yeah, that was what I had today. My body's definitely fighting something. That's for sure. What it is, I don't. Oh. Christmas party or Christmas hell? Two very different things. I've definitely experienced both. Okay, good. That's better. So I've definitely done the Christmas hell, and that's not enjoyable. Oh, no. spin down for a moment. Ugh. That is the last current New York badge done again. Ugh. Let me see. How many badges now? Extra credit. Alright. 221 out of 228. Well, that's pretty cool. That feels like that should be fun now. A little stressful, but fun. Ugh. Yeah, exactly. But sometimes stress can be fun. Like, stress can be good stress, or it can be bad stress. Just depends. Ugh. Yeah, it should be. But quite often you don't get to choose that, unfortunately. You're left with the hand that's dealt you. I'm happy I did that route like 15 minutes faster than Zwift estimated it would be. So, I'll take it. I'm happy to be done with New York again. I feel like I had just finished it on like Tuesday. Oh, to be so lucky. Yeah, not too bad. Just weird weather. It's been like 60s and 70s, which is bizarre. It's very unnatural right now, which is always concerning. Alright. Actually, let me see. Yeah, I'll take that. It's not supposed to be this warm. We've only had snow once, which is weird. Okay. So 6,000 XP away from level 92. Oh, I got 1,500 XP. How? That's weird. I don't know why I got that much. And less than 100 minutes to next stage of the Shiv, or first stage of the Shiv, I guess. Alright, so if I do this, and just do this, and do this, yeah, okay, duh. And I can come pick these. Okay, cool. Richmond roller coaster, I feel like it's longer than that. That's weird that you guys have it that much worse than we do. That is bizarre. I don't know how I feel about that. Alright, that's 37. That's 20. Oh. So much climbing. I don't wanna. At least London's done. So I've got... Accelerate to Elevate was the one I was debating doing today, and I'm thankful I didn't. Zwift Games, 25 Queen, Shorelines and Summits. That's it. So I'm back to the normal ones on those. New York, I am done again. My god, there's so many New York routes now. France and Macquarie Islands are done. Scotland is done. So New York, Macquarie, France, Scotland, and London are all done. Richmond has 2. This one I call shenanigans on. I'm fairly certain I've done Richmond loop around. But there's 2 there. 1 in Yorkshire. 1 in Innsbruck. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think I have 7 left. I was so close. Oh. Alright. I'm gonna call it there, because that's as much as I should be doing with how my body is. I appreciate everybody hanging out. I know route badges haven't been the most interesting, but I'm trying to cope with my body not being super happy about me riding at all. So this is probably the best solution. I might be back on Monday. I know I have a meeting that goes until like 3:30. So it depends on when that ends and if I can get things prepped and what's happening on Monday. And we'll go from there. So, and then obviously it's Christmas week. So I have no idea what things are going to look like. So yay, more unplanned stuff. So, but I'll try to keep you posted.
Good God! It's hideous. But beautiful in an ugly way. But mostly hideous. Ugh.
I'll take it. I'll take it. But I hope everything goes well for you, Wheatley. Sorry to bail on you right after you got here, but I need to go relax because I need to make sure I actually get recovery. So, thank you, everybody. Have a good weekend, and I will see you possibly on Monday, if not like Tuesday. But have a good one. Bye.